I don't want us to gloss over the fact that she is objectifying this black baby that she wants to have.
Yeah.
Why not just say, I want your baby?
Right.
Why not just say, I want a beautiful?
Yeah, if it was a white man, would you be like, put that big white baby in me? If it was an Asian man, I want you to put that regular size Asian baby in me. I mean, you got some big ass Asians though. Look at Yao Ming, right? Dr. Umar breaks silence on Shannon Sharpe allegations and reveals the shocking truth. Oh, you know when Dr. Umar, when he get to it, huh? The Art of the Dialogue, or The Art of Dialogue, is a channel that this comes to us by. There are some key moments in this conversation where Dr. Umar says some very interesting things. This is a 45-minute long video. We are only going to isolate the most interesting parts. So let's go ahead and dive into this conversation.
And I'm getting all these texts. Shannon Sharpe has been Snowbunny. Shannon Sharpe has been Snowbunny. Dr. Umar, Shannon is being accused of the unthinkable. And it bothered me because, as you know, me and Shannon Sharpe have had some back and forths over the internet, never directly, but obviously me speaking to him and him speaking to me about, you know, his position that he don't date black women and that he prefers Caucasians. And of course, being who I am, respect.
You know, I didn't know that about Shannon Sharpe, right? I didn't know that he exclusively dates white women and that he refuses to date black women. Interesting.
All women, no matter what the color, but I believe black men need to be with black women. And given the fact that Sean Puffy Combs finds himself in a situation he's in, and R. Kelly finds himself in a situation he's in, and Bill Cosby finds himself in a situation he's in, and of course, Sean Carter freeing himself from false allegations that Tony Busby had lodged against him, you would think that in the aftermath of all of these sex assault cases that's going on, that Shannon Sharpe or any black male celebrity for that matter will conduct themselves in a more responsible manner. So I'm not here to beat a man when he's down, obviously, because as I've made it clear on social media, okay, to the disappointment of many, I stand with Shannon Sharpe. And I stand with Shannon Sharpe on art for one reason and one reason only. And that is because what he did in having a relationship with a 19-year-old Snowbunny is not illegal. And so dealing with the American court system, morals has no place in it. Morals have no place in American law. If it did, we would have never been enslaved. So in a court of law, it's about whether you broke the law. It's not about whether what you did was right or wrong. And so I'm standing with Shannon Sharpe because I don't want to see his life destroyed like Puff, like Kelly, like they tried to do to Carter, like they've done to Cosby. I don't want to see this happen to another man.
Now, it's interesting how Dr. Umar is framing this situation. The way how he just articulated that, it's almost as if he is saying or suggesting that people are trying to criminalize the fact that Shannon Sharpe had a relationship with a 19-year-old girl or woman, young lady. And even though a lot of people think that a relationship with that kind of an age gap is inappropriate, that's not what has Shannon Sharpe in hot water. We have all kinds of examples of celebrities, male celebrities who are very rich and successful and famous, dating women that are 10, 20, 30 years younger than them, of all kinds of races. The issue here is the allegations that this 19-year-old woman is making against Shannon Sharpe, which, of course, is that, you know what I'm saying, he took the coochie without asking for permission. Now, we know, based off of the information that has been released to us, that they had a consensual relationship at a point. The argument that this woman is making is that at some point it became non-consensual. Now, I also think it's interesting how Dr. Umar is aligning Shannon Sharpe with people like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, P. Diddy, he's almost implying, and maybe he said this explicitly in other situations, he's almost implying that these men were all framed and that they bear no responsibility for the positions that they find themselves in particular, R. Kelly, P. Diddy, and Bill Cosby. He mentions Jay-Z, which I think that's different. And he also mentioned, was there someone else? I'm not sure. But the point is, those men, I think the information that we've been presented with in regards to what is alleged against them, I think the evidence is incredibly compelling. Now, hey, maybe it is a frame job, but just giving my honest opinion, it looks like from what I've seen that Cosby did some fucked up shit. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when there's that much smoke, I mean, come on, man. And that's really what's going on with Shannon Sharpe. This all boils down to whether or not he did this thing. Now, personally, I don't believe that he did. Personally, it looks like she is trying to frame the situation now to get some money out of him. And if this goes to court and he loses this, well, that would be absolutely terrible. But really, even if that doesn't happen, and even if she doesn't walk away with a large sum of money, the damage has already been done. It's put such a stain on his name, on his brand at this point, that even if he is vindicated and found not guilty of all crimes and all charges and all allegations, can he recover from this? Hard to say.
And because she was not legally a child, although too young for nearly all of us to feel comfortable with a man of his age dating her, it was not against the law for him to be with this 19-year-old. So what do we know about this situation? According to Gabriella Zuniga, she met Shannon Sharpe at a gym in Los Angeles approximately 2 years ago, 2023. Now, Shannon alleges that he tried to present her with an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, which every celebrity should require from anyone they engage with. Well, guess what, Art? She decides she's not going to sign the NDA. That right there was a warning to Shannon Sharpe that this 19-year-old, who you shouldn't be dating anyway because of her age, because of her race, you need to end this. If she don't want to sign an NDA dating a celebrity, you know what that means. That means if this doesn't go her way, she's going to expose you.
I think that's an excellent point. Shannon, he engaged in a relationship with a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, which is essentially a P-star, right? A porn star, let's just say what it is. And if his instincts, once he started engaging with a woman like that, was to present her with an NDA, and then she says no. I mean, what's the point of presenting her with the NDA? What's the point of even having that in your arsenal if as soon as a woman is like, nah, I don't feel like it, you don't enforce it or walk away? Just goes to show that Shannon is he's very driven by his flesh. He's very lustful to the point where he was able to put himself in a compromised position. I mean, women like this. Shannon is not a kid. He's not some 20-something-year-old guy who just got into the league. This is a man who's been around the block, who has been in all kinds of circles, celebrity circles, multi-millionaire, incredibly famous and successful, and he's approaching 60 years old. He should know that a woman like this is trifling. A woman or women who roll in the kind of industry that she rolls in is not a woman that you should just blindly trust. And now here we are.
Shannon Sharpe should have ended it right there. The problem was she fit his type. Obviously, Uncle Shay Shay, he likes Caucasian women, as we all know, and he likes them very skinny, which I didn't know. And the reason I'm saying that is the pictures that are floating around the internet on Gabrielle Asu Ninjas is the pictures of a very petite Caucasian woman who, not being disrespectful when I say this, appears to be built like a 13, 14, 15-year-old child. She doesn't appear to be developed like a woman. She doesn't appear to be a woman who's in childbearing age. There's no curves on that body. There's no lumps on that body. And according to her, allegedly, Shannon Sharpe told her that if she would lose enough weight for him, he would buy her some artificial breasts. Now, that's very puzzling to me, Art, because she's already extra skinny, extra petite, no booty, no breasts, no nothing. Why would you want her to lose any more weight? So from that, we can gather that Shannon Sharpe's type is an extra pale, extra skinny Caucasian. He definitely don't like them 5'5", thick in the thighs like Dr. Umar. He don't want butter almond. He don't want butter pecan. He don't want fudge, cinnamon, mahogany. He don't even want African vanilla, African butterscotch, African lemonade. He wants some pale and skinny. I want them brown chocolate and curvy. So anyway.
That was incredibly random. And Dr. Umar is talking like every single black woman is shaped like Nicki Minaj, when that's just not the case. You know that there are skinny black women. And so what is Dr. Umar suggesting here? That slim-figured, skinny black women who don't have a super big booty and don't have big breasts, that they should be relegated to the undesirables? That was kind of a weird thing. It just seems like he's trying to, look good in the eyes of black women that are watching this. Oh yeah, Dr. Umar, he a real man. He like thick women. He like, you know what I'm saying? And look, thick women are amazing. But I think skinny women are amazing too. I think a real man loves it all. A real man doesn't need a woman to just be one type of way to be able to get down with a woman. I would say the more testosterone filled and masculine you are, you know what I'm saying, the wider the target is in terms of what you will take down. That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? That's just me though. But let's continue.
They engage in this BDSM relationship. It appears that both of them allegedly are sadomasochistic. They are into BDSM behavior, bondage, domination, submission, and humiliation. That's what BDSM means. Now, some people are asking the question, Art, why didn't Shannon find someone a little older? Why didn't Shannon, with his money and his fame, find an older white woman or older black woman, even if you went with your 30s? Even if you went with your 20s, why didn't Shannon, with his money and fame, get a woman who was a little bit more mature? I'm going to tell you why I think he didn't get a woman who was a little bit more mature, Art. Number one, he's not interested in women who are a little bit more mature. But also, Art, you and I know that if you get you a sophisticated black woman, and I'm assuming it's the same for the Snowbunny Mafia, but if you get you a sophisticated black woman, she ain't going to be doing all that freaked out stuff early on in the relationship. You're going to have to earn that if you get it at all, if you understand what I'm saying. Ain't no black woman I know, not no black woman of respect, whether she's a celebrity or regular working class sister with a 9-to-5 trying to make ends meet. She is not going to be engaging in BDSM behavior unless you put a ring on it. You're either going to put a ring on it or you're going to pay her up front. And it appears that in Shannon's relationship with Gabriella, he wasn't taking care of her financially, Art. It does not appear that he was taking care of the Snowbunny financially, because if he was, why are there texts of her asking him for $10,000? If you are a multi-millionaire celebrity, king of the black podcast amongst the celebrities, You on, News One, excuse me, you on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. You on ESPN. Fox used to be on Fox Sports, whatever the case may be. You got money. Why is your side piece, your jump off, why are you not taking care of her? He broke the first rule of being a player as a celebrity. You keep them happy so they don't destroy you. You keep them happy so they don't expose you. And he was not taking care of her financially. That was a big mistake. But she was okay with that, Art. Why? Because it appears that Gabriella allegedly was looking forward to having Shannon Sharpe's baby. She kept talking about getting pregnant. And then Uncle Shay Shay made another mistake because he says to her in the text message, if I still F with you around my birthday, if I still F with you around my birthday, you can remove the IUD. So Art, he's having unprotected sex with a 19-year-old OnlyFans model. Illegal? No. Stupid? Yes. But here's where it gets even more critical, Art. By telling her she can remove her IUD, if you still messing with her around your birthday, you're giving her false hope. You're giving her false hope. And what you're doing, Uncle Shannon Sharpe, is you're turning this from a transactional relationship with benefits, sex for cash, and you're turning this into a legitimate romance. When Shannon told her she can take out the IUD, which automatically implies it's okay for me to get pregnant now, you automatically led this woman into thinking she was going to have a long-term relationship with you that would involve a child. Now,
I would agree. And it would seem as if that's what Shannon was trying to do to avoid having to, play the role of a sugar daddy, right? To the extent that a man in his position normally would. It gives her these fantasies that one day she's going to be locked down, or she's going to lock him down for at least 18 years. And really goes longer than that, because once you're the mother of a man's child, that connection is there forever. And so a situation like that, she was like, okay, I'm not getting paid like how I normally would in a setup like this, but at least he's going to give me a baby. And maybe all along, Shannon was like, I ain't getting this bitch pregnant. That's not happening. I'm going to ride this until the wheels fall off. No pun intended. And once she catches on that she's never going to get pregnant, I'm going to dip. And so Shannon, he tried to basically dine and dash. And man, look how it's playing out.
You and I know, Art, that something psychologically and emotionally had to be wrong with her, because why is a 19-year-old OnlyFans Snowbunny thinking she's going to get married to or have a baby with Shannon Sharpe? It don't make sense. Why would he give you a baby and have to walk around letting the world know I impregnated someone younger than my own daughters, almost old enough to be my granddaughter?
Well, men have been doing that since the beginning of time. Older men have been getting younger women pregnant for as long as we have been recording history. So I don't think it would be that crazy of a dream for a woman like that to have. Also, we see the reverse all the time now, right? We see guys like Anthony Edwards getting women 20 years older than him pregnant, right? Maybe not quite 20, but she up there. She's 40. We see other NBA players and NFL players doing similar things, getting these older women pregnant. So I would say that it's far more unrealistic for a 38, 39, 40-year-old woman to think that she has a shot of getting some 24-year-old NBA superstar to get her pregnant than a fertile, young 21-year-old girl thinking that she can get pregnant by Shannon. You know what I'm saying? Because to the fellas watching this who've been inside them walls without the safety on, you know. Maybe not all of you, but a lot of you know. I mean, I got 3 kids for a reason. That part of your brain, the critical thinking part of your brain, that shit turns off when you deep in them walls, man. I promise you, the grand majority of men who started second families and got women pregnant that weren't their wives, or women that they didn't want to get pregnant, they didn't want to do that shit. They didn't want to fucking do that shit. They didn't want the second family. They didn't want the kid out of wedlock and all that. But shit, man, you get inside them walls, you lose your mind. And so I don't think it's that crazy that she thinks that she could have pulled that off.
He's not going to do that. For her to think he would tells you that she had the mind of a child. Wishful thinking, imaginary thinking, without a lot of common sense and logic. So let's go further, Art. This whole time she's telling Shannon, I want this big black baby. She says, I always wanted a black baby. Now, time out. Why does a 19-year-old Snowbunny says she always wanted a black baby?
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
You always wanted a black baby for what? Because you didn't want a black baby to raise it, because you're not black. Why would you want a black baby given the hell that black people suffer in this country? I believe she was trying to sweet talk him into the pregnancy.
I do think she was fetishizing Shannon and the black baby, but I don't co-sign. I was trying to say condone, but I don't co-sign this idea that black people suffer hell in this country. Do some black people suffer hell in this country? Yes, but I don't believe that it is a mandatory thing that you must endure, especially if your father is a Hall of Fame NFL player, multimillionaire. I don't think Jaden Smith, for instance, has suffered hell because of his blackness, and he's all black. You know, he got 2 black parents. I mean, if this girl got pregnant by Shannon, this kid would only be half black with a rich, famous daddy. So I don't think that's a real concern.
I believe she was trying to sweet talk him into the pregnancy. And then when she said, you better get used to it, she texted him, Art, and she said, you better get used to me, because once you put that big black baby in me, you ain't never getting rid of me. She said, you better get used to me, because after you put that big black baby in me, you ain't never getting rid of me. And I think that was the text message that scared Shannon Sharpe. When Shannon got that text message, when she said, after you put that big black baby in me, you ain't never getting rid of me, that's when he knew he was dealing with a psycho. And I think from that point forward, he started trying to separate, failing to realize that you didn't do this to no sister. You did this to a privileged white girl, OnlyFans model or not. She is a privileged white girl. What black men need to understand in America, Art, that they still don't understand. It doesn't matter if the white woman is homeless. It doesn't matter if the white woman is strung out on drugs. It doesn't matter if the white woman is a prostitute. It doesn't matter if the Caucasian is an OnlyFans model. She is still a white woman in America. And if she accused you of doing wrong, you will be brought down and disgraced as if you were accused by Hillary Clinton herself. And so Shannon Sharpe, not recognizing the political implications of this private sexual relationship, he gave her the weapons that she could use to destroy him. So first it started with, put your black baby gravy in me. And first of all, Art, I don't want us to gloss over the fact that she is objectifying this black baby that she wants to have.
Yeah.
Why not just say, I want your baby?
Right.
Why not just say, I want a beautiful...
Yeah, if it was a white man, would you be like, put that big white baby in me? If it was an Asian man, I want you to put that regular size Asian baby in me. I mean, you got some big ass Asians though. Look at Yao Ming, right? A point I'm making, or the point I think Umar is making here, is that's weird as fuck, dude. It's weird as fuck that she does that. It's like she sees. It's almost like it's an animal. You know what I mean? Not just a guy, not just a person.
For baby. Why not just say I want Shannon Sharpe's baby? No, I want you to put a big black baby in me. She's almost calling him ugly. And she's almost calling the baby ugly too. But what I want black men to understand, not that black is ugly for us, Art, but black is ugly for them. And so what she's doing, she's objectifying this baby even before she's impregnated. And this is important because black men need to understand, Art, that white women don't like us. They fetishize us. White women don't like us. They fetishize us. And the problem with the Negro, the problem with the coon, the problem with these politically unconscious, sexually thirsty black male celebrities, Art, is they can't tell the difference between a white woman who favors you and a white woman who fetishizes you. White women don't favor black men. White women fetishize black men. So moving on, Art.
Now, I always think it's dangerous to speak in generalizations. Are there some women, maybe even a large percentage of white women, that Umar's his analysis would be correct for? Probably. Maybe that is the case. However, I do think it's dangerous to imply that never has there been a white woman that has genuinely found a black man attractive or has genuinely loved a black man, and vice versa for all the various, race mixing and shit like that happens.
He's being accused of 2 counts of sex assault. So you got intentional infliction of emotional distress and 2 counts of sex assault. Now, check this out, Art. Some people are asking the question whether or not I believe that the white power structure involved itself in this lawsuit. People are asking whether or not I believe the elites of the world put themselves or had some influence on this case. And I believe they did, Art. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Gabriella allegedly told Shannon, let's back up. She sent Shannon a text, Art, and she said, I need $10,000. She sends Shannon a PayPal link for $10,000. Uncle Shay Shay says, I don't hit the Cash App. I got 10 grand for you when I see you. Gabriella says, I need it now. I'm broke. Uncle Shay Shay said, I'm not sending you no money electronically. 10K when I see you. So guess what she does, Art? Gabriella tells Shannon, take a picture of the 10,000 and text it to me. Guess what she was doing, Art? When she asked Shannon Sharpe to send her a picture of the $10,000, she was setting him up right then.
Yeah.
She was setting him up with the 10K. What do I mean, Art? Prostitution is illegal in Clark County, Nevada. Prostitution is illegal in most states. So the reason she wanted Shannon Sharpe to send her a picture of the money so she could have him arrested for solicitation of prostitutions. She plays dirty, brother. She plays dirty. She was lining up her ducks already when she said, send me what black man you know, Art, going to send a 19-year-old OnlyFans Snowbunny a picture of $10,000. You know what that looks like? It looks like I'm paying you for sex.
Yeah.
That's prostitution.
Right.
Puffy is being accused of that. R. Kelly was convicted of that. And the other thing she tried to get him on, Art, is the Mann Act. The Mann Act is a federal law that makes it illegal to transport women across state lines for purposes of sex. When Shannon Sharpe relocated to Las Vegas from Los Angeles, she followed him. When Shannon Sharpe relocated from California to Nevada, she followed him. If she could show that she was paid to cross state lines to have sex with this ex-NFL superstar, he could be accused of breaking federal law. See, the Mann Act, Art, was created in 1910. And guess why the federal government created the Mann Act? To try to incarcerate the first black heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson.
Wow.
Remember, Jack Johnson was our first popular Snowbunny hopper, right? He was the first black man who openly, even before it was acceptable, openly ran around the world with white girls.
Really?
And so the U.S. Congress, 2 years after he became heavyweight champion of the world, 2 years after Jack Johnson became heavyweight champion of the world, the U.S. Congress created the Mann Act.
That's
He
insane.
became champion in 1907,
They're
1908.
like, we got to get this Negro behind bars. He's fucking all the white women, man.
They passed the Mann Act in 1910. And by the way, Art, the Mann Act is also known as the White Slave Traffic Act. The White Slave Traffic Act. So she tried to get Shannon Sharpe to send her a picture of the money, Art, so she could get him arrested for prostitution, state charge in Nevada, and so she could get him arrested on the Mann Act, the White Slave Traffic Act, federal crime. She was playing dirty. But Shannon didn't fall for it. So guess what she does? She decides, I'm going to record the next sex act that we have. And when I record the next...
Yeah, she was lining him up the whole time, man. She was setting him up. As soon as she realized that that big black baby was never coming, she was like, yeah, I'm going to get you.
Sex act that we have, I'm going to engineer this, allegedly, I'm going to engineer this to make it look like he SA'd me. So Art, she tapes it, she videos it, and allegedly this video, the audio, has her telling him to stop. He allegedly doesn't stop. But guess what? When you listen to this, it sounds as if he could very well be continuing because she is a BDSM freak. If you are normally having aggressive sex, Art, if you are normally having bondage and domination and submissive sex, if you are having sadomasochistic sex, how do you know when it's sex and how do you know when it's assault? When does the sex stop and when does the assault begin?
Right.
And it appears to me, Art, that she didn't have a problem with him sodomizing her. She had a problem with him not using a condom when he did it. But then my question becomes, if y'all were already having...
That's crazy too, man. The sodomy thing. Look, I don't want to judge. I'm not going to judge what you and your lady does, you know what I'm saying, consensually in your bedroom. But shit, man, that shit weird to me, man. I can't lie.
Unprotected.
It might just be because I grew up Jamaican. But that shit is weird to me, man.
Sex for nearly 2 years.
It's like, bro, pussy is so... It can't be as good as pussy, bro. It can't be.
Why did you need him to wear a condom this time? I'll tell you why she needed him to wear a condom this time, Art. Because she was setting him up, as he rightfully said, for the shakedown.
Yeah, I gotta think that dudes who engage in that, it ain't even about how it feels. It's about what you're doing to the girl. It's like you're, you know, I don't want to say violating her because if she's doing it consensually, but you're like, oh man, it's just such an aggressive thing to do to a chick because that shit ain't built for, you know what I'm saying, big packages. You know what I'm saying?
For the shakedown. So first of all, Art, she wanted a baby out of Shannon because for a Snowbunny dating a wealthy black man, a baby is financial insurance. For a Snowbunny dating a successful black man, the mixed race baby, the big black baby, is my financial insurance. She thought Shannon Sharpe was into her until the infamous Instagram Live scandal. You remember that?
What happened?
When Shannon Sharpe was caught on tape banging out a Snowbunny on Instagram Live.
Really?
He claimed he didn't put the Instagram Live on. We will never know the story, but that ain't the point.
That happened? I didn't know that happened. God damn. Yo, Unc is a freak, bro.
The point, Art, is she was looking for a baby until Shannon cheated on her with the Instagram Live scandal. Everything changed after the Instagram Live, Art. Everything changed. She went from wanting to be a baby mama to being an extortionist. Because after that, it became all about the money. She told Shannon, she said, I know you missed this big, juicy booty. I don't know what booty she talking about, Art, because I didn't see no booty. I saw 2 pale, ashy, extra flat buttermilk biscuits. I don't know what booty she claiming she got. But anyway, she told Shannon, you have to pay me $25,000 for each one of my cheeks. $25K for the left cheek, $25K for the right cheek.
Crazy.
Here's the problem with that, Art. If he only needed to pay you 50 grand for your flat cheeks, 50K, how did you end up at 50 million?
Right.
Art, she said 25K for each cheek. That's only 50 grand. So how did we go from 0 to 100 in a couple weeks? You just wanted 50 grand.
Yeah.
But your lawyer, Tony Busby, wants 50 million. Here's why I believe the power structure might be involved, Art. You are not going to convince me that a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, I don't care if she black, white, brown, yellow, or red, you are not going to convince me that if you offer a 19-year-old OnlyFans model who sells videos of her body for cash apps on a regular, she sells videos and pictures of her body on the internet for cash apps.
Right.
And she gets offered $10 million to walk away when she only asks for 50 grand. Think about this, Art. She only asks for 50 grand. Shannon Sharpe says, I'm going to give you 10 million.
That's insane, bro. Why? I mean, I guess to avoid all this, but 10 M's. If you know well, I guess, you know what I'm saying? He knew about the video recording. He knew about her saying stop. He didn't stop. He knew about the text messages. He saw the setup. He was like, damn, I'm fucked. And so he came with a bag that was so big. He was like, ain't no way she gonna say no to this. I'm about to get 100 M's, you know what I'm saying, for my new podcast deal. Shit, that's 10%. But Umar's making an excellent point. What 19-year-old girl? She's set for life at that point. She is set for life that is generational wealth if, you know what I'm saying, managed even somewhat properly. She could fuck off a couple million doing dumb shit and still, you know, she could take $2 million and buy 4 houses cash and rent them out. And if she's getting at least $2,500 for each house rent, she already owns them outright. She's now making 10 grand a month easily. And that's just if she decided to take $2 million and buy 4 $500,000 houses cash. She could do it with $3 million. She don't got to stop there. She could buy 6 houses. And $2,500 for a $500,000 house, depending on the state she's in, she could charge even closer to $3 grand for rent. And so she could easily be making $12,000 a month passive, not having to do shit. Profit. You know, of course she's going to have to pay, you know what I'm saying, fucking bullshit, you know, property tax and all that shit. But that's bullshit. Once you have the house paid off already, and then she still has $7 million more just there. So what 19-year-old girl, you know what I'm saying, is saying no to that? This is why I agree with Dr. Umar. There's somebody behind the scenes pulling the strings.
To walk away, and she says no. Art, do you know of anybody on OnlyFans? Do you know of any 19-year-old teenager who, if offered 10 million to shut up and go away when they only wanted 50 grand, do you know of any 19-year-old girl who is not going to take the 10 million?
That's crazy.
Anybody taking 10 million?
For sure.
Thank you. You on OnlyFans. You making money by selling your body, so
Yeah.
you clearly not doing too well in these streets. You get offered
Well,
10
there's some OnlyFans models that could finish your school with 1 month salary. 1 month payment could probably finish your school, Dr. Umar. Some of these OnlyFans chicks, they're printing money, but I get your point. You know what I'm saying? Why not retire and just take 10 M's?
million and you turn it down? I believe the NFL power structure, or maybe the white media power structure, or maybe the white podcast power structure. Somebody was jealous of Shannon Sharpe's upcoming $100 million contract.
I agree. Somebody did not like that.
Somebody was jealous of Shannon Sharpe's upcoming $100 million contract, and they intervened at the level of Tony Busby, or they intervened at the level of Gabriella Azu. One or the other. Because ain't no 19-year-old OnlyFans model turning down no 10K. Somebody wanted Shannon Sharpe embarrassed. Somebody wanted Shannon Sharpe humiliated. Somebody wanted Shannon Sharpe's financial future destroyed. But Shannon Sharpe made a big mistake, Art. He made the same mistake Sean Puffy Combs made. You know what that is? Offering too much money too soon. Remember when we had our last conversation, I said what? Puffy messed up when he offered Cassie that amount of money in less than 24 hours. It makes you look guilty. It makes you look guilty.
Well, also, come on. I don't know if it's fair to put Shannon and Puffy in the same situation. We do have videos of him beating the brakes off of that woman. You know what I'm saying? And look, I don't know what kind of sane man has crates of baby oil at his house. So, you know what I'm saying? Freak off parties. Sean was a fucking freak, dude. He was into some freaky shit, freaky deaky shit. So I wouldn't put them in the same boat personally, but okay. I do agree, though. It is probably not wise to offer that much money to your accuser so quickly.
Shannon Sharpe offered the 19-year-old Snowbunny $10 million. That was too much money, and it was too soon. And where there's smoke, there's fire. So Tony Busby and the white power structure allegedly stepped in and said, if he can give you 10 that easy. If he can give you 10 that easy. Remember, Shannon was bragging when he was talking about how the Cat Williams interview made him more money than he ever made in the NFL. Remember that, Art?
Wow.
I remember that.
So he's letting people know that the pockets is kind of heavy. So when he offered Gabriella Asu Ninjas $10 million, they said, oh, we can get a whole lot more than that. The shame of it all, Art, is we don't even know if Shannon going to get the $100 million contract now. I hope he does. I want what's best for my brother. I hope Shannon still gets his $100 million deal.
Yeah.
It's hard out here for a black man. But Art, if they suing him for $50 million,
Not for me, but for some niggas, I can agree with that.
what if he don't get the $100 million deal? Think about that. I don't know what he's worth. I don't pocket watch. But let's just say Shannon don't get it, and I hope he does. Knock on wood. But if Shannon don't get the 100 mil, Art, and the court award her 50 million, what if he don't even have 50 million? What if he don't even have 50 million? They would have been better, Art, and I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they showed their hand. But they would have been better off waiting until he got his contract. They would have been better off waiting until he had his contract so they could show that he got the money. But you coming in for a cash out before he's even signed the contract. Bad move on their part, but that was good luck for Shannon.
Now, Dr. Umar goes on to talk about other aspects, other angles of this situation, but I would say this portion that we've already reacted to is him doing the breakdown of how Shannon Sharpe got packed up by a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, which is the topic of this reaction. So if you want to listen to more of him speak on the matter, concerning other angles, go ahead and check out the full video. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, all of that.